Oops, now I can't hear you at all.
Welcome to Morgana Radio, where I, your host, Morgana Ray, get to interview the world's most fascinating thought leaders on money, love, and magic. And with a guest like today's Samantha Bennett, we get to have a bit of a long time business and productivity and creativity guru in the coaching world. And I can see that she comes from the acting background too. I will read a large script that I now need for my old person eyes. And I'll insert my own commentary to let you know how special she is before we dive into her amazing content. So yay! Today's guest is Samantha Bennett. She's originally from Chicago. Samantha Bennett is a writer, speaker, actor, teacher, creativity, and productivity specialist. And she is the author of the best-selling book, Get It Done, From Procrastination to Creative Genius in 15 Minutes a Day. Yes, with the New World Library. Those of you, by the way, who are listening in on the audio-only podcast on iTunes, full disclosure, this is also being recorded as a video. So Samantha just held up her beautiful book. If you want to see what we look like and what crazy expressions we put on our faces, go to morganaradio.com to see the video also. Back to Samantha. Seth Godin called her book an instant classic, essential reading for anyone who wants to make a ruckus. Her latest book is Start Right Where You Are, How Little Changes Can Make a Big Difference for Overwhelmed Procrastinators. Not that we know anybody like that. No. This will be published in fall 2016 by New World Library. The full title is, Start Where You Are, How Little Changes Can Make a Big Difference for Overwhelmed Procrastinators, Frustrated Overachievers, and Recovering Perfectionists, to be published in fall 2016 by New World Library. She is the creator of both the OrganizedArtistCompany.com and the OrganizedEntrepreneurCompany.com, both dedicated to helping creative people get unstuck, especially by helping them focus. Focus? What's that? And move forward on their goals. She spent 15 years as a personal branding expert for Sam Christensen Studios. Now, for those of you who are not in the know and part of Hollywood and the whole celebrity machine, Sam Christensen is a big deal. Yeah. Anyone who's in the entertainment industry knows Sam Christensen. So when I read that, my eyes popped out. I'm really impressed. And in that other industry that Samantha dominates, she was honored as an Ultimate Marketer finalist at InfusionCon 2010. So for the really geeky, teched out, 7-figure e-commerce gurus, you know what that means. She is also an Infusionsoft certified consultant and reseller, now based in a tiny beach town outside of Los Angeles, California. And she offers workshops, keynotes, and private consulting. And she also makes a heck of a roast chicken. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Morgana. I'm so glad to be here. Hi, everybody.
Hi. And so today, Sam is going to teach us how creative people can get it done. And some of the things that you'll be learning is how 15 minutes a day can really make a difference, how to override getting ready to get ready syndrome, how to make could-do lists instead of to-do lists, determining which of your 137 projects to tackle first, the top 3 things to do to get past perfectionism, the tools you need in your creativity toolkit, and how to build a daily creativity habit into a busy 24/7 world. So, wow. let's get started. How did you become this expert on productivity for creativity people?
Completely inadvertently. It was not my plan at all. I was an actor. I'm still an actor. And I was one of those kids who was putting on plays in the living room. And I went to theater camp and I did shows all the way through school and high school. And then was a working actor in Chicago and then in Los Angeles and did a lot of TV and a lot of improv comedy and a lot of plays and had a great time. But my whole life was like jobs and gigs and projects and shows and juggling this and juggling that. And it was creatively incredibly satisfying, financially disastrous. But as I kept working, I got really interested in this question of how do creative people decide? You know, when you could pick any one of a billion ways to market yourself, how do you pick? When you have a lot of talents and skills, how do you know where to focus? When kind of no one would care if you quit except you, how do you stay motivated? You know, it became clear to me that there's not just a way. You know, if there was one way, people are always like, I want a checklist, you know, just give me a plan. I'm like, okay, first of all, if I gave you a plan, you wouldn't do it. Second of all, because they're creative and they're stubborn and they want to do things their own way. But also the whole action of the thing is creative self-expression. So you've really got to start activating your intuition and your skill sets and your inner wisdom so that you can carve your own path up the mountain, because that's the only thing that's going to work. So it's not like I've got some incredible method and everybody should do things my way, but what I have are some incredible methods for you to figure out what your incredible method is so you can do it your way.
Oh, thank you. Because there are too many coaches out there in the world telling you to do things their way. And I find that for myself, being a highly suggestible person, I then feel like I have to take on everything, and then I go spinning into confusion and paralysis.
Absolutely. And I think we both know people who've ended up with businesses that they didn't really like. And they're like, oh, my coach told me to do this and it's kind of working, but I sort of hate it. You know, and I don't want you to end up with a business or a life that you don't love.
And I've never made money doing the stuff I was supposed to do.
Right. The should stuff, that never works.
Yeah. So what is our first step?
Well, the first thing I want you to do is notice that you're getting everything done for everybody else all day long. And the things that you know would make a big difference to you and your life and your well-being are not even making it on the list. Right? So your novel, your book, your photography, your scrapbooking, your, you know, singing, your prayer and meditation practice, whatever it is that you know really lights you up and fills you up, you're not doing. So I want you to not just put that on the list, I want you to put it first on the list. So you can go ahead and you can take the pledge with me right now. You ready? 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes a day.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Before you check your email.
What?
Before you check your email.
Before I check my email.
Before you check your email.
Before I check my email.
Yep. That's it. I'm here to tell you it is astonishing. Talk about magic. My friends and clients and students who do this, I get emails from them every day. Like, Sam, you won't believe what happened. I totally met this literary agent, or this is happening, or I finished my thesis, or, you know, or my daughter and I have started dancing together, or, you know, who knows, incredible things. And my friends and colleagues and students who don't do this, some see amazing results and some don't. But I'm telling you, when you spend the first 15 minutes of the day engaged in that which really, the work that only you can do, you know, only you have your voice, only you have your purpose, only you have your message. And it's amazing what you can get done in 15 minutes. And it's especially amazing what you can get done in 15 minutes every single day for a week, a month, a year, 6 years. You know, it's pretty impressive.
And that's also kind of radical and subversive.
Yes.
Not what other people are saying. How did you come across this?
I'm very into things being practical. I mean, I like the woo, I like the metaphysical, I like to go deep, but I also really like it when things are practical. And I have a busy life too. You know, everybody's like, oh, you know, I got to go to the gym every day. Really? In what 90 minutes is that going to happen? Like, it just seemed implausible to me. But I noticed in my own life that 15 minutes, even if it's just 15 minutes staring at a blank piece of paper, 15 minutes of enforced boredom never hurt a person. And once you're in it, and then you're really interacting with it in a new way. You're not just thinking about, oh, when I do this, or someday I'll do this, or I'll be ready later. You're in it now. And it starts to affect your whole life. This thing, because I can hear some of you thinking out there, and you're like, oh, it's too selfish. Like, I couldn't take that time for myself. That would be selfish. I'm here to tell you, it is the opposite of selfish. Because when you are walking around all tired and stressed out, and you lose your sense of humor, and you're not doing the stuff that creatively fulfills you, you are frankly not that pleasant to be around. And you're making the rest of us deal with you. And that is selfish. On the other hand, when you take 15 minutes for yourself, and you show up, at the PTA, at the meeting, at dinner, rested and refueled and attentive, like, everything gets better. I'd rather you be 15 minutes late and take that time than not.
But please call if you're going to
know that you're going to be 15 minutes late, for sure. Text
Yeah. So how do you get over the getting ready to get ready syndrome?
Well, but the 15-minute thing's pretty good for that. Also, even just noticing the pattern. Noticing the thought pattern that says, well, I want to get more business, but then I really should really improve my website, which means I should really get a new photograph, which means I should really lose 15 pounds, which means I really need to find the coupon from that personal trainer that I met 20 minutes ago, but I can't find it, so I better just go on Facebook. Like, like noticing when you have that, when you're putting up walls in between you and the thing that you want.
Mm.
And what I notice about people too is you're in general, if there's something that you really want, it's a persistent idea, you've been procrastinating on it, which is a great news. Because if you've been procrastinating, it means it's hanging around, like it's still tugging on your sleeve, like, hey, remember me? Yeah, you want to do me. You've had a million ideas that have sort of come and gone. This one is sticking around. So that's great news. And then, but if there's something that you think you want and you're not moving forward on it, there's a good chance it doesn't really have to be done.
Mm.
There's I want to write a screenplay. I should go get an MFA. No, you could just write a screenplay.
Why do you think we put those barriers in front of ourselves?
I think it's a trick that school plays on us. Because in school, the way you succeed in school is by knowing the answers in advance. You know the questions in advance and you know the answers in advance, and that's how you do well in school. Sadly, life, not like that. Art, not like that. Creativity, not like that. Love, not like that. Magic, not like that. Money, not really like that. So you've got to get used to that feeling of not knowing. And that panic that we all get, and I hear this all the time of like, well, okay, maybe I do want to do it. And that's sometimes a big step, even just admitting to yourself, like, I really do want to write poetry. I really do want to go clog dancing. But even once you admit it, to then go, well, but then I don't know how. Sam, I don't know how. How would I do that? I'm like, well, honey, I don't know either. Of course you don't know how. You've never done it before. But I guarantee you, once you start engaging with the question, you can start following the sparkly breadcrumbs and you will get led to where you need to go.
Yeah, in a way, school has really prepared us really poorly for life. This whole emphasis on getting the answers right. That I never really thought about it that way, but yeah, I'm super familiar with that not knowing feeling, but that's where all the brilliant stuff comes.
And this idea that we're getting graded all the time.
Yeah.
And so there's another radical one. You ready? Buckle up, everybody. Here we go. Get a C. Get a C. Quit trying to get an A+ and everything. Just get a C. C is the grade that you get for showing up and doing the work. Show up, do the work. Show up, do the work. Show up, do the work. Not doing the work better than everybody else. Not doing the extra credit project. Not sitting in the front row with your hand up. Just show up, do the work, be done, do it again tomorrow. Here's why this works.
You are a rebel.
I am. I know. And I can feel the perfectionists like bursting out into hives. Like, what's she saying?
Oh, no, but it's liberating.
Well, exactly. And here's why this works. First of all, your C is pretty much everybody else's version of an A. I'm sure you've noticed this already, that you put stuff out and you're thinking, that's not very good. And everybody else is going, oh, did you do that? That's amazing. Oh my gosh. And you're like, really? Like I did that in like 10 minutes. What are they talking about? Right? So your version of a C, probably everybody else's version of an A already. Second of all, if you put it out there and it really does need to be made more perfect, then you'll make it more perfect. Get it out there. See if anybody wants to buy it. Then make the logo more perfect. Then make the customer service perfect. Then, go in and revise the table of contents, so it's correct, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
you know? But this fiddle, and until eventually you can kill a good idea like that.
Oh, well, we're so afraid of being judged. So we'll fiddle instead of putting it out there and getting feedback.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we don't really know what people want without feedback.
Exactly. And, you may have not noticed this, but you are a terrible judge of your own work. It's not really your job to judge your own work. It's your job just to get it out. And this is not just theory. I mean, I just submitted the manuscript for the book that's coming out in the fall. And you know how it is. By the time I got to the end of it, I was like, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. This could not, I feel like I've written 52,000 words on trite. Like I just thought, oh no, this is just going nowhere. But I thought, Samantha, this is why God made editors. It's not your job to decide whether or not it's good. It's your job just to get the thing on paper. We'll make it good in the next couple of steps.
So what are the top 3 things to do to get past this dreaded perfectionism so that we can be happy with our C? Yeah.
So the 15 minutes a day, get a C. I'd also really start engaging with your creativity, with your intuition, with those little inner knowings as much as you can. I would have a great idea catcher. This goes to the creativity toolkit we were talking about too. Because you're having great ideas all the time. And for those of you who are writers, you are writing all the time. You are just not writing it down. So I want you to start writing it down. I like index cards myself because I find them cheap and cheerful, and whole pieces of paper intimidate me. But an index card feels sort of manageable. But other people like to take a voice memo on their phone or send themselves an email or, do whatever works. Figure out what works for you and then stick to it. And I would also just, really practice cultivating that intuition. One way to do it is the next time you go to a restaurant, just open the menu and order the first thing you see. Don't even read the menu. Just, they're okay. Chopped salad, done.
Haha.
It's fun.
You talked about a could-do list versus a to-do list. What's the difference?
Yeah, so I come from a long line of list makers. My mother is actually on this. Hi, Mom. My mother is a list maker. My grandmother is a list maker. I am a list maker. we love lists. But I noticed that, first of all, a list tends to be sort of undifferentiated. Like, yep, here it is. Here's everything I need to do. Now I don't even know where to start. But also it felt like a lot of pressure to me. Like I had the same reluctance sometimes around setting goals. Like I would act like I was being chased by dogs, like I had to do it. But I find that if I write could do instead of to do, it gives me a little more feeling of agency around it. So it's like, I could prep and pay my taxes. I could not do that and take the consequences of not doing that, but I have choices. I could do laundry. I could walk around in dirty clothes. I have choices. It also lets me put down things that I would never actually do, but it might spark other thoughts. So, Oprah's big estate isn't very far from where I live. I could go drive by Oprah's house. Am I going to? No. But now that kind of gets me thinking about the local TV station. And then I think there's a little show that maybe I could be on. Like, you sort of start to follow the big idea to get to the little actionable idea. So
that's a really good point. The little actionable idea. I think that, our culture glorifies, the really big accomplishment, when I think that the gold is in the baby steps.
Amen, sister. The gold is in the baby steps. Like our friend Sark says, micro movements, right? Just move the needle a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And I think, talking about tricks the culture plays on us, we do tend to make a big deal about these big successes, forgetting that the big successes are only a bunch of little successes piled on top of each other with a bunch of intermediate big failures in between. You know, it's like, I also think the other thing I notice about this that's troubling to me sometimes is I think sometimes people look at other people who are successful and think, oh, well, it just must be easy for them. You know, she must not be insecure. You know, she must not have that confidence problem or those visibility issues, or you know, she must have always been a great writer. Or, you know, like of course she did well. She doesn't have the problems I have. Right,
because they haven't been in your room when you were crying.
Exactly. Like, I'm here to tell you, I work with Emmy Award winners, Oscar Award winners, ordinary people. Everybody is terrified. Everybody struggles with exactly the same nightmares and demons. Everybody gets the same amount of pain. I don't care who you are. I don't care what decimal point your bank account is at. Life is exactly as hard for everybody as it is for you.
So we now have our sexy list of 137, because you wrote that down, 137 projects. Yeah. How do we choose which one to tackle first?
Well, the one, I think, did you guys get a free gift link? I think so.
Yes.
I think it's theorganizedartistcompany.com, all the way spelled out, theorganizedartistcompany.com/Morgana.
And this will be also posted, the link will be posted at morganaradio.com, where you can see the video or replay the audio, get the links, see the pretty photos, all that stuff. The Organized
Artist Company.
Artist Company.
/Morgana. And you can opt in there, and that will get you my Procrastination Domination Starter Kit, which is 2 of my very best and most powerful exercises. One of them is a prioritizing exercise that really helps you figure out which of your 137 great ideas is the one you should be really working on right now. The other exercise deals with that criticism part, that fear judgment part. And they're both, I've been teaching the Get It Done workshop since I think 1999 or 2000, and I've never seen it not work. There are very few things you can say that about. So these are really, it's not very long. It's really easy to do. You can do it anywhere. You don't need anything special, anything. And I hear it really helps bring a lot of clarity. So that's one tool you have available to you, is to go and get that. And then they'll put you on my list, and then you'll get emails from me. You can write me back. We'll be pen pals, best friends. It'll be great. The other thing I sometimes do with my list is I write down all the stuff I have to do or think I could do. And then I make another couple of columns next to it, and I'll put time, money, inclination, and ROI. So how much time do I think it's going to take? How much money do I think it's going to take? Or how much money do I think it might bring in? Inclination is just a gut check. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I want to?
Could you repeat that? Because I think we're having a little issue with your internet connection. So you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was really, really valuable. So let's go over that again a little more slowly.
Yes. So I write down my could-do list, all the stuff I think could get done. And next to it, I put time. How much time do I think it's going to take?
How much time it's going to take?
Money. How much money is it going to cost me, or do I think it might bring in?
How much money it might cost or bring in?
Inclination,
which
is on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I feel like it?
Okay. And how much you want it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah.
And finally,
ROI. Like, what do I think the return on investment might be? Spiritually, emotionally.
Beautiful. And you've frozen a little bit. Are you still there? Okay, so we just lost Samantha for a second, so I'm going to go over what she has shared. Start with 15 minutes. 15 minutes before you do your email or anything else. Do 15 minutes of something that is high value. It may be taking a walk. It may be staring at a blank piece of paper. It may be prayer, but it's something intentional. And if you just do that first thing a day, every day, you will have miracles. That was the first piece while we wait for Samantha to come back. Second, how to override the getting ready to get ready syndrome and just dive in to what you really want to do. And the key here is that life is not school. So in life, the point is not to know the answer before you begin. In life, the point is to not know the answer and to find out along the way and go for the C, not the A, go for the C. Make could-do lists instead of to-do lists. You could pay your taxes. You could do your laundry. You could write that book. But you always have agency. So you always get to choose when you determine which of the 137 projects to tackle first. Well, the place to go is to the organizedartistcompany.com/Morgana for Samantha's really gorgeous giveaway, which I'm going to go get. And let's take a look at where Samantha is now before we wrap up. Technology. So I just went over 15 minutes a day, getting ready to get ready, could do versus to do, 137 projects, top 3 things to do to get past perfectionism, tools you need in your creativity toolkit. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, I think people really vastly overestimate the amount of tools they need. I think, and don't get me wrong, I love to go to Staples. I love to go to the art supply store. I'll go crazy at those places. But I like to think cheap and cheerful, especially if you're just starting out. So really, pen and paper, idea catchers, just a little bit of space, a little bit of music. It's amazing what you can get done on the cheap. And also, I think that also helps with the perfectionism. When you haven't spent $1 grillion on a really fancy microphone or, booked a whole studio or something, like you put a huge amount of pressure on yourself making those kind of investments. So play a little bit more, really see what you can do with what you got on hand.
Yeah. Oh, please don't pay for the expensive website until you're already making money.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You're going to be changing everything as you know what you do better. Oh, I had this burning question for you.
Yes.
Because you're working with the artistic, creative people, and then you're also working with entrepreneurs who may not be typically creative types.
Mm-hmm.
What do they have in common?
Well, I think everyone's a creative genius. So not everyone is artistic, in the same way that not everyone is musical, but everyone's a creative genius. If you've ever solved a problem differently than anybody else ever solved the problem, congratulations, you're a creative genius. And the thing they really have in common is the way they think. They're real mavericks. They don't like to do things the way anybody else has done them. They generally don't like to do the same thing twice, which can be a challenge in business. You have to trick yourself into thinking that it's something new. And they're not, anti-authority would probably be an overstatement, but they don't. Or not. Yeah, they really they like to make their own rules and they like to play by their own rules. What I see increasingly in entrepreneurship, particularly in internet entrepreneurship and creative entrepreneurship, is I feel like we're like creating a whole new world and a whole new economy here that's really based on creativity, on sharing, on generosity, on open-handedness. I mean, now that there's no barrier to entry, look, Morgana, you have a TV show. Ta-da! You have a TV show, you have a radio show. It's happening right now.
Right.
I could hold up my iPhone and I can make a movie right now. I can record a song and put it out right now. I can journal and write news articles right now. So there's no reason not to be open-handed with it. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that you shouldn't still charge, because I do want you to charge and I want you to charge a lot. But in terms of just getting your work out, there's no reason to be close about it. And I think the same thing for entrepreneurs. Like, to really be like, of course I'll share with you the name of my social media manager. And of course I'll tell you how I did that last launch. And of course I'll, pull back the curtain and tell you everything that I've learned the hard way so that you don't have to.
You're bringing up a question that I see a lot, especially because, we both kind of came up in the ranks in Hollywood, where people will actually ask you to pay them for the opportunity for you to work.
Right.
So, and that's not just actors and musicians, but it's like people in the arts. So how do you help these artistic types charge for their work and get it?
Yeah. So the one thing is just to understand that, again, there's been a big acculturation here to creatives and to artists that says, oh, you don't like money. You're not good at business. Like this big fake wall got put up, like, oh, you guys wouldn't like it over here. It's businessy. You wouldn't like it. Go over there. Go over to the starving artist corner. You'll like it over there. That's very comfortable. Like, and I don't know why, because everything that business is really about, creative people are excellent at. Authenticity, storytelling, service. Like, that's us all day long. So all you're really missing is a little bit of strategy and a little bit of structure. And the internal permission that it's okay. Because again, I can give you a plan all day long to make $20,000, but if it's not really okay with you that you make $20,000, nothing I say is going to make a difference. So to really notice, it helped me when I realized, again, this is living in Los Angeles where things are kind of expensive, but I realized I couldn't get anything for less than $100 an hour. I couldn't get my hair cut. I couldn't have the plumber come. I couldn't have the mechanic come. I couldn't get a massage. Like, everything was at least $100 an hour. I'm like, okay, so if a limo driver can get $100 an hour, I think I could charge $100 an hour. And that's where I started, was at $100 an hour. So part of it's just that. And understanding that what you bring to people is a new story, which is the only thing that ever changed the world, is a new story. A story that you can be more fit, a story that you can be more intellectually engaged, that you can be more exciting, that you can be more spiritually attuned, that your body can be cleaner, that the planet can be cleaner. I mean, the minute we stop telling the story that it's okay to own other people, slavery ended. That was a story that did that. That wasn't politics. That was Uncle Tom's Cabin. And no matter, this is why I say you're a terrible judge of your own work. It feels, what you do feels sort of dull to you, but to somebody else, it's a big news flash. And we've all had that happen where you go, wow, I've been going along and then I read this book and I saw this movie or I heard this song or I met this person and my whole world changed. And to really value the importance of that and the clarity that can bring to the world.
Speaking of stories, what is a client transformation story that you love?
So going back to this 15 minutes a day thing, I love my private clients especially because I don't have very many of them and they pay me so much money they have to do what I say. So I had one. She had a full-time job in a cubicle that she kind of hated because she was pretty sure that the fluorescent lights were sucking her soul away. Which is in fact true. Fluorescent lights do suck your soul away.
It's science.
It's science. Exactly. Well, ask Bill Nye because he will tell you.
Right.
It's science. And she was a jewelry designer. She'd been making jewelry. And I was telling her the 15-minute a day thing. And she's like, Sam, that's not going to work for me. Like, it takes me 15 minutes just to like get my stuff out. Like, that's not going to work. I said, okay, I totally accept that it won't work, but try it anyway. I'm like, you're a creative person. I bet you can figure something out. So the next time I talked to her, she had actually made herself like a little tray, like a little kit sort of that she could sort of take out and do a little bit and put it back. And in a week, she had made 3 necklaces, which was 3 more necklaces than she had made in the previous 6 months. So now she's like, oh, okay, maybe there's something to this. So now she's got this little kit, because the other thing she was doing, and that there's no such thing as a single disciplinary artist, right? Everybody has a million things that they do. So she was also apprenticing at a tattoo parlor because she wanted to be a tattoo artist.
Of course.
So now she has this little kit. She starts taking it with her to the tattoo parlor to do in her downtime. Well, they didn't know she made jewelry. So the tattoo parlor starts selling her jewelry. She starts getting more hours there. Now she can quit the crappy job under the cubicles and do what she really wants to do, which is paint oil paintings.
Yay! Yay! So where do our listeners, for those who have not gone to morganaradio.com yet to get your links, where do our listeners go to get more Samantha?
Yes. So you can get the free gift at theorganizederstcompany.com/Morgana. That will get you the free gift. Or you can just come to theorganizederstcompany.com and jump in for whatever, my latest free webinar is. And that'll get you on the list. And email's really mostly how I communicate with people. So that's kind of your best bet for finding out what's going on.
Yay! Yay. Beautiful. So is one last sparkly, creative word of wisdom that you're inspired to share before we sign off?
Yeah. One thing that I think is really important is your family and friends don't understand what you're doing or why. They love you. They're frightened for you. They want to protect you. And so they say things that are really discouraging. Other entrepreneurs, other people also sometimes say things. There can be conventional wisdom that seems very discouraging. So here's a handy phrase that has helped me to no end. That's not my story.
Oh.
Right? You're like, it's impossible to get butts and seats for an event. That's not my story. It's really hard to find clients who pay you. That's not my story. Might be your story. It's not my story.
That works.
Right? And then just to remember that the world needs your work. The world needs your creativity. We're out here. We're waiting for it. Only you can do it. And we don't have an unlimited amount of time in which to do it. So don't delay.
Thank you so much. This has been golden. I love you to bits.
Samantha. I love you. Thank you, Morgana. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.